Hello everyone, and welcome to Niche, the Lands of Ice Challenge. We are still waiting for the new update to arrive for Niche. Hopefully it will be any minute now, bringing us bat wings, new bears, and a new sandbox mode. But until then, I have been playing around with the random challenge generator. I just can't help it. Every now and then I'll load it up and start spinning, and a challenge popped up that I could not resist. So this is going to be a unique series. Often we do a very long-lived legacy challenges in our Niche series, where we follow one season after another. We have epic tales of nicheling gods and goddesses building up their pantheon, protecting the different tribes, the tribes themselves developing romances, dramas, all level of intrigue and drama, and it's so exciting. But for this challenge, we're actually going to try to be pretty fast-paced because we are aware that the update is coming, and the challenge itself is pretty interesting. For the Lands of Ice, the rules are pretty simple. I will list them in the video description below and provide a link to our wonderful fan-maintained wiki, where many of you guys have done an amazing job keeping track of all of our nichelings and their family tree. But the rules are very simple. The ice is spreading through the world. Everywhere our nichelings have turned, ice has begun to cover the waters. Ice has covered the land. Cold has been settling down upon every corner until the grasses begin to die, the trees begin to die, the fish begin to disappear from the waters, and only these icy lands are left. So our nichelings need to survive the oncoming age of ice, and they remembered something in their tribal tales that will hopefully help the remainders of a tribe that unfortunately has been separated by that encroaching ice. They have remembered tales of the Yukirs. They have remembered this tribe of legend made out of many of the nichelings of the nicheling pantheon who had abilities and strengths that are perfect for the cold weather. So in the Land of Ice, the ice is going to be arriving. We can only go to snowy islands. We cannot go to a sunny island. We cannot go to a grassy island because no such thing exists. So no matter where we go, it always has to be either an island like this, where there's some very hardy grass that is clinging to life, with some trees that we are going to assume are mostly almost dead at this point. But we would have to go to the next portal, wherever the next snowy land is. So we have to stick to snowy lands, and we can only stay on each island for a maximum of 20 days. That's because the ice is spreading, it is crawling through everything. If we stay too long, we will have the same fate that befell these two tribes happen to us, and we will die. Any nicheling who is still on the island after 20 days has passed will actually pass away, because the sudden rush of cold, the winds barreling across the ocean, will just cause them to fall. So we need help, and we need to survive. So the only way we're going to be able to do that is by collecting up all of the prehistoric genes. That is actually another one of the rules in this challenge. We need to get all of the prehistoric genes, all 5, displayed in our tribe. So that's going to be kind of fun. It's kind of like a callback to the Yukirs, and when I saw a couple of those things in the challenge list and the random challenges, I got the idea for doing this. And it is winter right now in real life. It is actually going to snow, almost a foot of snow, where I happen to live in Michigan very soon. And I'm feeling like having a fun, fast challenge while we wait for the niche update. So a few other things that were actually from that random generator: we cannot gather any of the grass. So the grass is simply too hardy. We cannot gather any except for the regrowing grass and the bushes. And if we had a very brave swimming nicheling, the kelp. We cannot clear away any of the grass that is currently around our nichelings. We can only clear away because it's too hard. If it's hardy and sturdy enough to survive the sudden shift in climate, the sudden drop in temperature, then it is simply too tough for even our sharpest claws to be able to tear down. However, this color is clearly a different kind of grass, and it is actually easy for our nichelings to tear down and make into nest, and the dried twigs are easy to snap off. So those we can actually collect to build nest if we need to, but all the other grass cannot be touched. Also, we cannot tame any beareynas. Beareynas cannot be tamed, and only creatures with prehistoric genes can fight them. All of our other nichelings, if they have no prehistoric genes displayed, have lost the instinct on how to fight beareyna. So we cannot fight beareyna with these two because they have no prehistoric genes, but if we unlocked some prehistoric genes from the icebergs, we will be allowed to fight beareyna. And then finally, the prehistoric genes are, oh, actually there's two more things. One, the prehistoric genes are too complex to put into the mutation menu. So when we unlock prehistoric creatures, no matter what they get, we cannot put that mutation into our mutation menu because it will be too complicated, is what we're saying. There's just something, the way that the climate is in this world, just no matter how hopeful you were, the nicheling gods cannot gift you these genes to your children unless you happen to be carrying them in your own genetics. So no prehistoric genes in the mutation menu, but the goal is to have a tribe that displays all 5 of those genes. And finally, if we mate direct siblings, then they absolutely have to put inside of their mutation menu, if by some cruel twist of fate we have gotten down to the point where we only have direct siblings left to breed to try to survive the oncoming drama, then we have to put in the infertile. One trait has to be infertile, and the other trait has to be either derp snout or deformed paw or blind. Those kinds of traits that are super negative, because we shouldn't be breeding direct siblings, and you often end up with those genetic anomalies when you do that in real life with animals. So that's going to be the punishment. If we try to kind of circumvent the fact that we want to get these prehistoric genes by just having a couple related siblings try for, you know, some healthy babies, well, we also have to go ahead and put in like a derp snout and infertile into the mutation menu. So we could try like breeding direct siblings, but the consequences like hemophilia, derp snout, deformed paw, infertility, they're pretty severe. So that would be kind of like a last ditch effort. But yes, so yeah, that's the lands of ice. The ice is coming. These two have lost their tribe to the ice. Their tribe members were not able to rush across the ice bridge that they were just on. It shattered behind them, and they were lost to the sea. So unfortunately, these are the last 2 surviving members of their little warm weather savanna loving tribe, and they also happen to hate each other. So they are not wanting to be mates with one another. May I introduce you to Anuar, and to Trill. And Anuar cannot stand Trill, and Trill, who has a little history of the Tata trickster god far back in his background. His family tree somewhere in there has a pinch of that trickster god. You know, he couldn't really look at Anuar as a mate if he tried. They're sort of the last 2 who wanted to ended up stranded as the sole survivors of their previous tribe. They'll stick together as a tribe, but they really can't stand each other. So they definitely, like being mates, Anuar would just kind of stare at Trill and frighten him, and Trill would just casually say, right then, probably better for us just to toss ourselves to the leeches. So no, they are not going to end up being mates because they really cannot stand each other. Let's see, and I think that covers everything. So yeah, we went over the rules. Ice is coming. We can only stay on the island for 20 days. We can only be on ice and snow islands. If we accidentally stumble on a non-ice or snow island, we either lose immediately, or we have, if there was no other option, then we have to go ahead and leave the island immediately for an ice island. Because if there's no other option, then we can just rush through that island, but we'll say the ice is coming even faster than usual. We can only clear re-growable grass, bushes, and kelp. We cannot touch any of the normal grass. We cannot tame a beareyna ever, and we can only fight beareynas with creatures who have prehistoric traits. Our goal is to display all of the prehistoric genes, but they cannot be put in the mutation menu. And if we do mate direct siblings, they have to have 2 negative things inside of their mutation menu, one of which has to be infertility. So that's everything. I'm really excited. From now on, the rules will be in the video description. This is meant to be a fast challenge, so let's get moving. There is actually a couple icebergs on this island. We have one right here and we have one right over here, conveniently located as the hallmark to the next ice and snow island. I'm very relieved because we only have 20 days. We do need to get some food and we do also need to get out of here. So with Anuar and with Trill just really not able to stand each other, they do have a little bit of an understanding when it comes to food, and they do know the legends. They have heard about this time. This is not the first ice age to spread across the land. This is not the first time that nichelings must reach back into the frozen past in order to form a new tribe and survive. So they know they must seek out some of the descendants of the Yukirs, who themselves may be trapped in ice. They must free these nichelings from the ice and rely on their primal wisdom, the genes, the blood that flows through them, strong from the Yukir tribe, of whom we had like 3 seasons of fantastic adventures. Maybe we'll actually have some of our favorite nichelings. Oh, Black Rose. Do you guys remember Black Rose? Oh my gosh, she was fantastic. And maybe Yuki and Lala will show up, like Yuki/Lala the god will show up again, and Tata might show up, and that would be really fun. I love it when the nicheling gods are reborn. But basically, these two know of the Yukirs. They know they must seek out a very suspicious looking chunk of ice that conveniently is very close in order to find the members to help them survive. So let's go ahead and we're going to get Anuar over here. She also knows that we need food, and there's leeches and fish right over here and a clam. So she's going to kind of roll her eyes and take the hit and insist that if Trill must, he can pull a leech off her at the very least. And then I'm going to have her grab that fish. Trill's going to grab this leech. She's going to grab that. And then Trill is going to start exploring a little bit. So we can work our way up. And of course, with a little bit of the trickster god's luck and a little bit of his teasing voice, Trill is probably going to be the one to find the creature hidden inside of the ice first. If it will be a boy or a girl remains yet to be seen, but I know these two would be so relieved to find somebody else they could possibly mate with. Unless we end up with an infertile nicheling, in which case this is going to be a little awkward. All right, let's see. 24 food, 19 days left. The clock is on. Trill is going to go ahead and start rushing through, and he's found it. He will call out. He has found the iceberg. This is happening already, which is kind of amazing. And I can just kind of hear him sort of taunting, and Anuar like licking her leech bites and kind of being like, I was the one who just got us the food. These two cannot stand each other. Also, she can smell a couple of roots, so we'll have to go ahead and grab those. I don't think Trill would, in fact, I don't think Trill would waste any time. I think he would just stare. He's also clever because he is a descendant of the trickster god. So I think he would just stare at this iceberg and then casually knock it into this hot spring to release whatever creature is in there. So let's go ahead and see what the very first addition to our prehistoric tribe will be. Hopefully this will be the beginning and we will survive this challenge and finish it up very quickly. So, and don't worry, we're gonna actually save the tribe, by the way. And okay, this is the last bit before we unlock this. But if you guys fall in love with a particular nicheling in this tribe, we're going to make sure we take screenshots of what they look like and their traits, because I've heard rumors, and I don't know if this is true, but I've heard rumors that in the new sandbox mode you can set up whatever kind of nicheling you want. Like you can create the 2 nichelings that you start with, what they look like, what their traits are, and stuff like that. And if that's true, then I'm really excited about the idea of taking some of our favorite nichelings and recreating them or having them be reborn into a new tribe. So if you fall in love with nichelings that are inside of these Fast and Furious challenges, don't think that they're gone forever. They might show up either in, you know, a Sims 4 video where I recreate nichelings, but you totally didn't hear that, or they might show up in a future series. And if we enjoy this challenge and we enjoy the results of this challenge, assuming we survive, then we are going to actually go ahead and make a new age. Like, this may be the era of ice, but maybe in the future it becomes the era of echoes, and we turn it into the basis that we will begin our bat challenge from when that happens. But enough of my rambling. Let's shove this puppy into the hot spring. Holy cow, there's 2 of them now. All right, you don't look very prehistoric. Now you do! Now you do! Do you know how long it has been since I have seen this tail? And who is this? Oh my gosh, I think we just got a mate for both of these 2 immediately. This nicheling looks like our squirrel nicheling from the Ukir tribe. Do you guys remember her? Oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Okay, well, it looks like Anuar just got lucky with a potential new mate, and we have Lamias, who has just arrived. She looks so much like that squirrel nicheling that we had back in the Ukir tribe. Oh my gosh, this is going to be so cool. And we have the tail. It has been so long since I have seen Hammertail. This makes me so happy with Kakuku. I love your name, Kakuku. That's actually hilarious. He is here. He has been brought out of the hot springs. I think that Trill would just kind of be laughing at the splashing and watching the ice kind of fall apart and bubble. And in fact, he'd probably be like, yeah, take that ice, take that. You took my family from me and now I destroy you. And that kind of personality is exactly why Anuar can simply not stand him, by the way. But we do have a quiet young nicheling who is somewhat curious about all of this hubbub, Lamias, and she actually looks like a perfect possible mate for Trill. Thank goodness these 2 don't have to put up with each other as mates. They were really worried about that for a hot minute there. So let's take a look at these newbies. We are definitely going to, in fact, let's go ahead and have Trill immediately jump in front and just fall in love with Lamias. Whoops! Well, okay, you fell in love with her, and now she's carrying your child, but I meant to, like, invite her into the tribe first, you dork. Oh my gosh. Alright, well, it was clearly love at first sight. I wanted to rename her, and I kind of need to assign their genes. So now we have to, like, of course, and this would just be, Anuar would just be, like, shouting over the rocks, of course you would forget to invite her into the tribe first. You're so freaking rude. They just can't stand each other. Oh my gosh. Lamias, let's get a good look at you, you poor thing. She actually has heat body with heat radiation and cold resistance. What the heck? She is built for the era of ice. This is fantastic. Oh my goodness. And she has snout recessive. She is wonderful. A and F immunity. So she's actually a perfect mate for Trill, who basically is your typical starter nicheling. Pretty simple. Does at least get to brag about the fact that he has some of the Trickster God's genes hiding, you know, in his family tree. Not that he's bragging or anything, but he totally is. Short-sighted a little bit on Lamias. We'll have to give her a new name. I am so excited. She's just a gentle, kind little thing, and I think she can put up with whatever Trill's silliness has to offer. And meanwhile, over here, we have Kakuku, who has Hammertail. And, oh, he also has snout. Oh my goodness. Anuar. I know you 2 are going to be mates, but just to warn you, he might have a wandering eye, because snout would kind of be amazing to have, so that we could use that for healing. Oh my gosh. But we have got Kakuku. And he remembers the era of ice. The ice came for him, but it could not defeat him. He was one of the chosen of the Ukir lineage to stay behind and make sure to guide any nichelings who would need it when the ice returned. So the nicheling god said would happen, and so it has come. And he has the kind of deep, serious personality, despite the name, Kakuku, that I think Anuar would absolutely adore. So she swept off her feet, even though you can can tell she really, with her big ear, like, recessive and blind eye recessive, ooh, their children might be born blind. Ooh, those could lead to some hard times. Kakuku might have to teach them about the hard times, the hard memories, the hard choices that must be made, just as hard as ice. Oh my gosh, this is going to be amazing. Alright, so let's go ahead. He is going to maybe gather up that grass just because he wanted to see if it was edible. Spoilers, it was not. Anuar is going to jump over here and invite over Lemius into the tribe because she is not so rude as to forget to do that. And Lemius, the precious little thing, I think is just a little hungry right now. And we do have to kind of work our way over to the other side of the island. And we have 2 crackerjaw nichelings amongst us. So we might go ahead and start doing that. Lemius will just be like, well, gosh, it's so surprising to meet all of you, but here, I'll go ahead and show y'all. This is where you want to come. Oh, there's some food. And Kukuku will prove himself a worthy hunter, which will definitely get the attention of Anuar. And I think Lemius would just be like, oh, well, gosh, that's going to be awful delicious in just a second here. Should I let her go ahead and do a call? I think I may let her go ahead and do a call for just a second, maybe to call Trill up and to just kind of call out to any of her potential family. So alright guys, actually I love this as a good start. We have some new characters already. I have established the rules. I know I spent half the time explaining the rules. That's just the sacrifice the first episodes always have to make. Thankfully from now on I will just tell y'all to look in the video description and check out the links because it's all going to be there. But I'm excited. This is going to be a fun challenge. Hopefully it will be a pretty fast one. I don't want to get too caught up in a super duper legacy like our cookie tribe. Holy cow, may the cookies rain on. But I'm so glad that you guys enjoy these too. Hopefully these kinds of fun, fast, and niche challenges will be really fun. I'm thinking about doing them in streams, so keep your eyes out for that. We'll kind of like randomize a hard or extreme challenge for a stream and just see how far we can make it in that stream. And we may do challenges like this where we just kind of have an arc with a quick challenge and with a group. If they survive, we might use them for another challenge in the future. If they don't, then clearly that challenge got the best of us and we may try again or try a new challenge. I want to kind of do that to kind of keep our niche episodes a little fresher and easier if you get busy and you're not able to keep up with our super long legacies and you can't sit down with the rest of us and a cup of tea and just talk about the lineage of the cookie tribe forever. Let me know if you think that's a good idea. I'm really hoping it'll go well, and I'm going to also try to train myself to talk a little bit less and or faster so we can make things happen. But that will have to happen next episode. So thank you guys so much for joining me. If you could, do please leave a like to toss a little chunk of, or I guess a little clover of luck to all of our little group, and also to Lemius, who is going to get a new name next time because she is a awful sweet little thing. I'm already in love with her. And if you would like to join this and literally hundreds more niche episodes and thousands more episodes and adventures, then do please consider subscribing, and I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye!